All right. My name's Mark, and welcome you to Spirit Child 1723. I don't know, you can call it an Angel Tarot type station. We're doing Taurus for the month of June, and we're trying a new format here where you guys can see the cards that I put down. And we just got to get busy, man. It's June 1st, and got a lot to do. I had to take breaks for myself. And, anyways, we got the. Five of Wands out, followed by the Five of Pentacles. What do you got going on, Taurus? The King of Swords. He looks like he's pouting. And the Page of Swords. What's this one? And Renewal. Huh. All right. So in your top row, what we have is conflicts with others caused by opposing opinions. Walk away from drama unless the situation is really worth your time. Then stand up for yourself. And very ambitious people. So this could be at the workplace, this can be in your family, but a lot of noise, a lot of chatter, a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, just competition for nothing type energy, competition that will just allow you to continue to be stuck. Um, then we have, somebody worrying about money too. And then being comforted by the angels, they show the older female, aging, and there's you know there's flows of money, that come in and out of our lives, and sometimes it's rough, and the situation's rough, and we don't always have a quick solution, or the solution ain't gonna be quick to fix it. But everybody experiences this. It's just part of a cycle. You got two number five cards out there. In other communication, five to me is about change. It's about change mostly, transformation. Anyways, next card out is the King of Air. Intelligent, impartial, respected, stoic, receiving the advice, wise advice, remain objective and fair-minded, public speaking, communicate clearly, unemotional relationships, or being emotionally unavailable. Um, so this is a smarty pants, but their social circle's not all that great. This is male energy. Seems disappointed, seems bored. Um, so we have a male energy in that. We have a female energy that worrying about some of the basic needs of life, because money's slowed up. And then we got this physical energy being put out, to be in conflict, which is exhausting. It's draining. All right, so the page. So we get some refreshment here. Logical, perceptive, insightful, blunt, exciting, intellectual, challenge, brilliant insights, information that you need, but might be challenging to receive. Review all documents carefully. So some of you could be getting a message of a contract, or you know, some form of agreement, something changing, whether it's a work promotion. This could be love, but if it is, this is going to be a real fast in and out type offer, playful. And this person kind of, they don't get stuck too much. They're going to, deliver the message straight out and kind of move on, with or without your acceptance. Then renewal. All right. Kind of reviewing, for some of you, your family could be changing. This could be also like death of an ego, or the thing that happens, dark night of soul, a little bit of a gloomy energy, but also with some insight. This is saying your lineage, your ancestors, your heritage. It's about knowing a little more of where you come from and what they went through, and probably feeling it too. Sometimes we take on their karma, and to work it out. So for some, it's important, to know the history of their ancestors. And there's usually somebody in a family, even if it's 2 generations down, that kind of has looked up, the old DNA line, and knows, what everyone in the family was involved with, and whether they married or whether they had kids or what part of the country they grew up. Most of that today, with today's technology, as long as you got the right information in the beginning, you can bring up a lot about, they'll even make you a coat of arms, some places you have that done. All right, so the next row out for you guys, Taurus in the month of June, Spirit, intimate relationships. All right, number 6 card, friendship is the foundation of any good relationship. This guy that Spirit depicts here just, kind of doing their thing and being playful and stuff. We have the success card again. It came out for, came out for Cancer. Also, time to celebrate. You've done a great job. Well done. To remind us to celebrate with family and friends, little accomplishments as well as large. Like give yourself a pat on the back once in a while. It can be hard to navigate the 3D and get beat up in the work world and the competition that's out there, and that stuff falls into work. People just constantly trying to paint a picture to the boss. They're the right ones to be promoted, but they gave up on doing the a fair share of the workload. I see it all the time, man. All right, exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it. So then go out and dance. It can be playful, rollerblading. Find something you like and you enjoy. If going to a gym and getting on a treadmill like I do is totally boring, you won't keep doing it, unless you got real strong commitment, and if you've done it for a while, you'll know the benefits. But this is saying, find something that's playful to start your exercise program. You can start off with walks in nature. Doesn't have to be trying to get in this grueling sweat. It's about just moving your body, so as you age, it cooperates with you. I need to work on what I put into my body, nutrition wise, and I'm open-minded to making some changes as we go along here. Who is your go-to person? We all need someone who can vent to when we had a meltdown. So the younger generation is calling this holding space. Just be there for somebody. They just want to talk something out. A lot of times they're not necessarily looking for the answers, and I like to ask ahead of time. Do you want me to just listen to what you're saying, or at the end, do you want any feedback, or any ideas, or any you want me to flap my trap about anything at the end? But tell me before you start sharing, so I can just pay attention to listening, if that's what I'm supposed to do. It's hard. It's hard to listen to somebody for 30 minutes. Are you okay? So somebody checking in on you. They know you're down. There's a female energy checking in on that male energy, the king, and knows, like, hey, well, what's going on? You're bluesy. I know we've had 2 or 3 weeks of on and off rain. Yesterday and today are decent, but clouds still there, so it's easy to get gloomy. And if you have any type of seasonal depression, you got to use it. You don't have to, but they suggest to use the light and breathe the air outside, and don't put greasy foods in your diet, all that stuff. We learn how to condition ourselves to keep our emotions as good as they could be. And the other one is that exercise card's real important. But anyways, this is saying reaching out for help to a friend. We already talked about holding space. And go out and just be playful with your friends, and especially if you're getting over a relationship, for the male energy, that's what it seems like what's going on. Next row out, we have mixed signals, Taurus. Mhm. For the 40, 50 of you guys that kind of watch, consistently and sometimes inconsistently, um, let me know how you like this format. I know I'm not fully in the picture, and that's okay. I want the focus on the cards, and it's first thing on a Sunday morning. I want to get it done rather than taking the time to get in the shower and all that. But it's more so that you can see the cards in front. I think that's important to some people. I don't know why. Just sensing that. All right. So the first card out in this row is mixed signals. You don't let others know you are interested. Flirt and be approachable. Oh, so it's saying some of you are too reserved and you hide, your feelings for somebody or the chances, to kind of be playful with somebody. They're saying be more open with that, if you truly want someone. Then we have addiction. You're either obsessed with someone or struggling with addiction, get help. So I don't know. It might just be for a couple people, and it could be that loves the addiction, I watched somebody and I didn't realize the impact it could have because it's really not my story. It's their story, right? But like, 8 or 9 times, like just fall in love with the person they're dating. And I could tell how the body chemistry of this person was changing and stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just pay attention and know that you're doing it. If you know you're doing it, that's one thing. If you haven't realized like that's what you really like, and then you want to move on so you can start that process over to get that feeling, and you're gonna be stuck in an endless loop. Criticizing your partner is driving them away. Focus on their good qualities. Yeah, it's everybody has stuff. No one's gonna meet all the check boxes. I'm going through that, just evaluating what I like and what's important and stuff, and 75% of the stuff is in alignment. That's worth me investing my energy because there's a strong possibility that can lead to something, to the goal I want. Fear, loneliness, you stay in bad relationships because you're lonely. Be okay with being yourself. So showing people out with friends, but you see one person turned around, they're looking to see if that person's coming, right? They can't stand to be without that person or chase that person. And there's energy around this reading, that somebody kind of tired of the same old thing. But also, they need to make changes on their part to get something different. Age issues. You feel too old or young to date or have issues with your partner's age. Hmm. So for some of you, maybe, you know, you like the relationship, but out in public, you don't like how other people react to it. If there is a big age difference, I'm not sold on it, you know, that it's that critical, but, if you're closer to the age of someone that grew up in the same generation as you, that provides a kind of a start in the foundation. Um, all right, moving along here. Let's see what this row brings out for you, Taurus. Month of June. So far, what we're getting is a male energy that's in, having the humdrums, and you need to clean up their diet a little, maybe exercise a little, and be, grateful for the accomplishments that are going on that they've already made. Oh boy! All right. Mm-hmm. All right, reminiscing. All right, I miss our inside jokes. For some of you, it's either a long-term relationship with someone that possibly passed on, or just a long-term relationship, and you know you're still feeling it, so it feels weird when you go out with some other people. That's the energy that I sense. Clock, needing time cycles. You're kind of mirroring a little bit of Cancer's energy. Yeah, there's 4 cards that are exactly the same. Wedding rings, union, marriage, soul connection, everlasting love, devotion. I don't know the signs well enough to. I know Cancer's a water sign. Taurus, is a steady earth sign. But I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I don't know for you guys that into signs. This could be a Taurus and a Cancer um, getting together long term. Open yourself up to others. This is how you create new friendships and attract a love relationship. This is very, very similar to Cancer. So there's something there. You guys might want to do the Cancer reading. If there's a Cancer person in your life, not with Cancer, but the sign of Cancer. Continue to make the most of every open door. So just saying, like, your future's uncharted, and you navigate that, but there's, you know, endless possibilities. If you manifest with the universe and you take your creative energy and put forth the cleanup of your energy, there's all kinds of stuff you can bring into your life. All right, let's try to hem up this romance part of the reading. Finance and career. Could be playing, retreat, somebody working too much. Unacquitted love. That's that old one. Getting to know each other. That's the new one. So financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So, that can be simple as, bills are a little tight, and, it could be the person that doesn't even want to receive a date till they know they can do their hair and nails and be all dolled up, and that goes both ways, guys, girls, it doesn't matter. Then we have the energy of retreat. It's to get away from all that media, all that phone, be with the person. Last weekend I had a chance to spend a lot of time with somebody and get to know them more. And it was all good, man. It felt good hanging out with that person. Unrequited love for some of you. That's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep the relationship going. Yeah, that's always, a possibility. There's got to be some physical attraction, as a component of a relationship. And the last card out is getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So, again, you guys are right in line with Cancer. You know, I was talking about in Cancer's reading, friendship's a foundation of relationship. Just give out a little, guys, especially with, somebody totally new to your energy and your circle. Um, you know, give out a little, see what they do with it. Give them out a little, have the trust, see what they do with it. If you hear stuff come back or you don't like how they handled it, you don't need to go any further. But if you put it all out there and, you know, I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't have an opinion on it right now, but, I've watched some people, like, within 2 dates tell everything about their last two relationships to someone. First of all, sometimes you'll scare the bejesus out of them, right? They don't need all that. And it's my personal opinion. I guess I do have one, is it'll skew how they view you. If you're looking for something new and stuff, let something new happen. Be in the moment. Give it a chance, And it ain't easy, guys. I know it isn't. I was carrying so much weight, man. It was like a death sentence to ask someone out, because in my head I already had, that it's going to be no, 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 no. All right. So for your timing card, Torres, what I get is you're ready. So some of you finished the work and you're moving on, and you know your finances as they get in order, your dating life and your romantic life and the partner that you're working a relationship out with. It looks all good, you know what I mean? Just keep plucking the path. The finances will change, and start focusing. I'll say, like, a manifestation prayer, like, every nanosecond, every millisecond, every second, I'm receiving abundance from the universe. Every minute, every hour, every day, I receive abundance from the universe. So saying that versus, uh, they took away overtime at work. I'm not gonna be able to pay the electric bill on time. Excuse me. Uh, I hate it when I don't have the money to get my oil change in the car, because then that's going to cause another problem later on. That's the stuck energy, guys. So, I'm just showing you the difference. And for those of you who think that has nothing to do with how other stuff unfolds in your life, you're missing it. You know what I mean? You're missing it. And that's why there's so much stuff about a manifestation and attraction and abundance, to wealth, to, fame, fortune, whatever, but they don't talk about the in and outs of trying to clean and let go of other people's energy, cleaning up your own energy. Because again, we'll manifest the same thing over and over again if we don't change our energy. The frequency, the vibration of what we're putting out there, that is what the universe responds to, right? So you have the thought of, every time I get close to someone, they hurt me. You're going to attract, the universe is going to give you someone to confirm that belief, right? Every time I move somewhere, it takes 2 years before the neighbor talks to me. I'm just putting something out there. Whatever's in your head, you'll move into a neighborhood where that's the situation. So, anyways, keep your thoughts positive the best you can. Be grateful for what you have, and create a life. You can change every day. You can pick to have it different. You got to work on it. Keeping a positive mind stuff with all the stuff that's out there and all the competition and fighting and people with a lack mentality, fight, think they got to fight and protect everything they have. Like someone's going to steal their car and they're never going to have a car, so they make, they grew up in a tough neighborhood, so they decide to carry a gun. You know what I mean? Where there's a good chance no one's going to steal their car. No one wants their car, possibly. You know what I mean? Anyways, just trying to show how we kind of paint these scenarios, and we take our beliefs, and you know at some point we got to let go of old beliefs and stuff that's just not true and ain't happening, and have to learn to have a different conversation with the universe and with source, and create what we really want. So go after what you really want, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for letting me read your energy. And then for those of you, like I said, it seemed like Cancer really was reflecting something. So there's something with Taurus and Cancer in the month of June. All right, guys.